Well, our favourite, the leader of the free world, he's created a stir again by displaying to the whole world just how feeble and uncertain he is and how every little public utterance and move needs to be carefully managed. Have a look at this briefing in the White House and note what Joe Biden has in his hands.
The phrase that I found noticeable was there's a difference between states that say may and say shall. If you have to say you shall give, you shall do A, B, C, they're the ones that are going to have problems. But most say may. I mean, may and I got it reversed, may and shall.
Yeah, it's all about that card the president has in his hands. It's his note from staffers telling him what to do at the event.
Forgive the playing of that particular guy from Sky News, but so there's Joe Biden as we're talking about as he's in an event there to speak, if you would presume so. But what everyone's talking about is the card that he was holding there that had instructions on very simple, normal things that a human being could maybe do in a meeting room like this. As they zoomed in closer, let's look at it, because those things written on this says "you" in capital letters. Into the Roosevelt room and say hello to participants. You take your seat. Press enters. You give brief comments, 2 minutes. Press departs. You ask Liz Schuler, president is. So it goes through all of his very step-by-step things, from how much he even takes his seat to ask certain questions, to thanking people, to moving, to standing up and then departing. It doesn't look good from a president that gets a lot of ridicule for being geriatric and slowing down, mental state, losing himself. All those things are now gonna be in hyperdrive, but I mean, almost maybe for good reason when you see something like this. So this also comes as these fears. As we know, Joe Biden is 79 years old. He's gonna be 81 by 2024. And people are wondering, maybe he's not ready to run for re-election. Even from the beginning, Jessica, I remember he was saying, I'm not sure, maybe I'm just a one-term guy. He didn't say it in those terms, but when people were asking, he definitely hinted at it in that way. So other Democrats, like this woman here you might recognize, has said before her fears and not sure about whether or not Biden is the next best option for the Democratic Party. Remember this?
President Biden, he is saying he's gonna run again in 2024. Will you support him?
You know, if the president chooses to run again in 2024, I mean, first of all, I'm focused on winning this majority right now and preserving a majority this year in 2022. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think if the president has a vision, then that's something certainly we're all willing to entertain and examine when the time comes.
That's not a yes.
Yeah, you know, I think we should endorse when we get to it, but I believe that the president has been doing a very good job so far, and you know, should he run again, I think that I think it's we'll take a look at it. Okay. But right now we need to focus on winning a majority instead of a presidential election.
Now this wasn't based off of any cue cards or anything telling him every step to take, but I will say this, Jessica, there's one thing, because I did bring this up to my wife this morning when I saw it. And I said, it just doesn't look good. I said, but at the same time, I'm trying to figure out how regular this is. And she did tell me, she does, she's a musician and a singer, and they do live shows. And many times when it's one of these very big, maybe it's like a wedding gig and it's a very particular, a very well, tightly run event. She says even when it comes to performers like them, they got cards where they say 8:46, make sure you stand up. 8:52, announce that this person comes in. It's almost like telling every step of what to do when it comes to such an important event. So maybe it's not just about him being old, but then again, that's just one particular example. We don't know if this is always the situation when it comes to a president.
Right, I think that's absolutely true. When I worked on campaigns and we had big events, we called these things a TikTok, and it was a minute by minute description of everything that's happening at the event. However, these schedules were the same for everyone. They didn't say things like, you take your seat, and the you is in all capital letters. It's almost like Biden forgets that he's the person that's supposed to be in charge, and you have to take your seat is not something that I think we would ever need to put on our run of show of everything that's happening. And so this kind of suggests that someone made this card for Biden, but if he needed a card that said, you take your seat, you talk to this person at this time, why would you think he had the mental capacity to be a good steward of the card and not show it up so that everyone can see? There should have been a line on there that's like, you do not show this card. And what this really comes down to is it's time for him to retire, I think. I think it's pretty clear we've seen enough that he's really not performing as he was back in the day when he was in the Senate. It's really, not the same politician. We really need a strong leader right now. We're facing the rise of fascism in this country. I understand that we've experienced some gridlock in Congress and it's difficult to get legislation passed. But we need someone who's actually going to give speeches that, unite the party, that motivate people. We need someone who's going to lead. That doesn't just mean passing legislation or passing Build Back Better. We need someone who's going to fight this fight, and Biden doesn't seem fit to do that.
Well, and there was also a story I remember seeing maybe a few weeks ago where he was frustrated by his handlers and the way that they're telling him to do certain things and be a certain way. Hey, bro, if you're frustrated by your handlers handling you like this, you're the president, bro. There was this president that preceded you that did nothing his handlers told him to do and continues to do so, and they fell in the line behind him. As crazy and as off the wall as he is, you can do what you want, And by the way, there's just one more, my last thought on this. If someone is losing their mental acuity, or if someone is in a downgrade later on in life, I really don't see it as something that we're saying, oh, so weak. It's a human reaction. Some people go through these things. We're still studying when people have their mental declines and things like this. I'm not saying he's got Alzheimer's, but we're studying things like Alzheimer's to find out the potential remedies and things like that. I don't see it as a, see, you suck. It's more of a, this is a job that your particular state isn't prepared for anymore. That's just all really is to it. And the reason Donald Trump caught all that hell from everyone else that opposed him is because he goes out ahead of the game and starts criticizing people, calling them old and geriatric and can't think and can't move. When he has those same problems, that's where the criticisms for Donald Trump came in. Don't talk about other folks when you're the ones that also dealing with the same situation. I don't think the country needs either one of them. Let's keep it real.